Alright guys, so I'm going to be showing you how to paint in this value sphere, and this is practice for our project because you're going to be doing a monochromatic color scheme, which means you're going to be picking one color and doing tints and shades and tones of that color. So I chose blue, so I just grabbed a little bit of black, a little bit of white, and some blue. You could get fancy and do like a secondary or a tertiary color, but I'm just going to stick with a primary for right now. So when you guys start your value scales, I grabbed a square-headed brush, a liner brush, and then a tapered brush. So I have all three with me. And we're going to start and go dark to light. So you would start with a little bit of black and add some blue to that. So this will be your darkest color, so essentially like your shadow. So as you go, you're going to add more blue to your mixture. It should be a smooth transition though, so it shouldn't be like dark blue and then all of a sudden turn light blue. It should be really smooth, gradual. This top part doesn't need to look perfect. I'm just kind of putting this in the shape. So now when I'm in my middle, this should be like my normal hue of blue. I'm going to start to add some white to this mixture to make a lighter blue. And then my last box would be my lightest. Okay, do you guys see that, how that works? So we're all going to do this. I actually glued this in my sketchbook. We're going to do this before we start the project so you guys have a reference to work off of as you're working on your project. So I kept those mixtures. You can kind of see how I gradually did that. I kept them all so that I can use them to do my sphere. So I always start with my shadowy areas first. Now as I go up my sphere, I want to add more lighter values. Just like when we learned how to shade with pencils, you're basically doing the same thing now, it's just with paint. And when you're blending, especially because we're just using computer paper right now, you have to blend sort of fast or else it's going to dry up on you. So since I'm nearing the top of my sphere, I'm going to start to go into my white mixture. And do you guys see how that's not very gradual? That's not good. So that means I need to go back and layer some of my mid-tone over top. You may need to clean your brush out on your paper towel every so often because you don't want to pick up all these dark values when you're trying to work up in the light section. And I used a tapered brush for most of that, and now I'm going back with a square to blend. And what you see me doing now, I'm just going back where I feel like I need to blend a little more. Maybe I didn't blend enough the first time. So you should be using all the shades, tints and shades and tones that we just created, and now you're working on blending them out. And maybe my shadow down here is a little bit darker. Okay. All right, and then if you want, if you're feeling fancy, you can go back and add just a little bit of a highlight at the top if you're feeling fancy. And that's all there is to it, guys. That's a blended sphere.